I just find a lot of things on the internet that are kind of, what's the word? Alarming. I would say alarming. Only because we have grown adults. Like, I'm talking like people my age. I'm 29. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like practically middle aged. Who talk and act like they're 8 years old, and as if their 8-year-old opinions matter somehow. And there's a difference between getting your opinion out there and just in general having other people listen to it, opposed to oh man, my brain's out of it today. Being abrasive, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Man, my hair is such a mess. I think that if we had less people who were just outright being abrasive and more philosophical, okay? Like, I mean, less just like complaining. Sorry about cleaning my face, but I had something in my eye. It's I find today that everybody just has an opinion, and it's not even about having an opinion anymore. It's about having the right opinion and being the only person that's right with that opinion, and then having people agree with you. And it's just absurd because that's not how adults work. It's not how society works. That's not how we come to terms with things, move on from our mistakes, and live with our daily lives. Look, I'm a high school dropout. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. All right. There's a few different reasons on why I dropped out of high school. It wasn't even just one thing. It was literally a combination of things, and it was a situation that I otherwise could not get out of if I didn't just walk out of the school. And what I mean is that I was being bullied in the school, and see, with my high school, I wasn't allowed to transfer. They told me that I lived a 15-minute walk from the high school because I lived so close that it wasn't reasonable. And I was in an IEP program because I was in a treatment facility when I was in my freshman year of high school. And so, anyways, because of those two things, I wasn't able to transfer, even though I was willing to continue to go to school and finish my education. So my senior year, I didn't show up for the first 2 weeks of school, and because of that, my school was like, well, we can't just let you drop out, so we're going to kick you out. And then, you know, I could take the GED, but I have to take classes because I did try to take the GED test and I failed it because this year They changed the test completely from the old test to the new test. So it went from being like basic, like freshman year knowledge to like college freshman year knowledge. So they want you to know calculus, and I was never taught calculus. So I had to go take some classes. Um, it's just hard to say, you know. There are just so many things that need to be said and need to be done, but not the right people are doing it. So I feel, that Trump is probably the most dangerous person to be in that position because of the personality type that he is. It's not even about what he's done, it's like what he could do, what he's capable of, how he thinks about things, how he addresses things. I mean, I'm a convict. I'm an 8-time convict. I've spent time behind bars. I've slept next to people who've murdered people. Um, I met Karina Roberts. Um, she's the woman who lived. She's in Coffee Creek now. She lived in Hillsboro, Oregon, and she put an ad on Craigslist for a breast pump. And this woman who was 7.5 months pregnant came over, and she sedated the woman and proceeded to do a home C-section on her and killed the woman in the process. Um, she told me their story too. So, it's not like I'm not analyzing this from like afar, like I actually know details. So, um, so she killed the woman in a home C-section, and the baby was still kind of alive. So she took the woman, threw the woman into the house in a crawl space, and there was like blood everywhere. And she waited for her husband to get home in the bathtub with the baby. Um, she got caught with the blood test at the hospital. I mean, I don't think she actually like thought the whole crime out. Like I think she initially like just thought of doing it, but didn't think of the consequences. And the problem with that is that she was high on meth. It's not like she just thought about doing this out of just blue. Like it's from what I understand from her perspective is that she was living in an abusive home. Her husband was abusive to her, not only to her but also to her kids. She had 2 kids, and she was also pregnant at one point, and she had a miscarriage, and then didn't tell her husband. So because he wasn't told, he thought she was still pregnant, but he was getting suspicious. So he basically told her, he was like, if you don't have that baby, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to take the children. She freaked out. Okay. She was like, postpartum miscarriage. So like all these hormones, and she's like all like high on meth, and she's also like severely obese at the time too. I mean, like clinically, like Oh man, I have to say she's like 400 pounds. But when I met her in jail, okay, she lost like 100 pounds and she was like skinny. And she's really short, so she didn't look anything like her pictures. So if you look her up, because that is her real name, okay, um, you're gonna see pictures of her that she basically looks like this obese monster. And uh, I have a lot of sympathy for her because when I talked with her about her case, she cried. She felt empathy. She felt bad for being high on meth and killing that woman and taking her baby. Um, because she didn't think about the consequences. So like when I was in jail with her, all right, she had to sign her kids over to DHS. And I think that's what really broke her. It wasn't even just like initially like the murder, it was the loss of her own children, which is what she was trying to prevent in the first place because her husband threatened to leave her and take the children. She didn't want that. That's why she killed the woman and took the baby because she wanted her husband to think that she had the baby. And she had this elaborate plan, like that she was gonna like raise this baby, take care of it on her own. And it didn't play out like that, obviously. Like, I mean, I met this woman in jail, you know. But she's another person, she's a human being, and I myself have issues, with anger and other stuff, and I know what it's like to have a psychotic breakdown. I know what it's like to not necessarily feel like um, I'm normal because I'm not. There is no real such thing, but I mean, to understand that frame of mind, that mindset, like firsthand, is rare, and it's not an easy thing to explain. But there, it's like I'm sorry for cutting off. I was reading something. Um, I don't do this very often, and it's because I've always been kind of camera shy. Um, I do talk on my headset. I have a VR chat, so I talk to people. But my whole thing with the internet, like as long as I've been here, I've literally been on the internet doing this stuff for like since like 2001. Um, Not YouTube, obviously. YouTube hasn't really been around that long, but I've been in chat rooms and talking to people and kind of getting a scope of just how this whole thing works since I was like 13. So for like the last 16 years, I have been delving into chat rooms and talking to people and meeting people over the internet. But my whole thing was being behind the screen and not letting people see my face, at least not like this. Like, I have pictures and stuff, but even then, like, I was never really one to ever have pictures of myself because I always had this type of image that I wanted to portray. Fuck you. Here's my I'm the that you created. I'm yours and I am yours. something, baby.
Sorry about that. I had something in my tooth. So far away, I never made so cold. And say, if I'm so far away, I am. Ow! It's twisting my arm. Oh. I'm so out of tune. I haven't sang in years. I can sing, I just don't practice. I think I sound horrible. Even though, like, with practice, I've been told that I actually sound really good. I just have a really high alto, and I could probably break glass. So I think, I think if I actually tried to sing, I would just make people's ears bleed, and it wouldn't be fun for anyone. So, anyways, oh. I've been streaming for so long.